right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Put on hold. More St. Louisans come forward saying they could not get through to 911.
Faux fall. A little early taste of autumn to spice things up, but it is August, and some of the hottest days of the summer may be just a week away.
The last well in St. Charles shut down.
We are now completely reliant on St. Louis for our usage, which runs, right now it's running between 6 and 8 million gallons a day.
Why the water is...
We start tonight with breaking news. Just 2 hours ago, a grand jury in Georgia returned 10 indictments related to the election interference probe surrounding former President Donald Trump. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. You just saw the NBC News special report. Mr. Trump is among those named in the indictment. This is the fourth indictment against the 2024 GOP frontrunner for president. Developing tonight in St. Charles, city leaders have shut down their only remaining water well due to more contamination.
It comes as Ameren's already working to clean up previous water contamination there following orders from the federal government. Our Brent Solomon just got back from St. Charles. So Brent, do we know yet, is this new problem connected?
Well, Ann, that's exactly what the mayor thinks. Tonight, he's asking Ameren to produce results that show him otherwise. We reached out to Ameren ourselves, and the company is not so quick to take the blame.
Everyone deserves clean drinking water, no matter where you live.
It's why Kara Elms with City of St. Charles Clean Water Advocates is ringing the alarm.
I've been asking about how this site is being monitored.
She's referring to the St. Charles well field, where the EPA ordered Ameren to remove cleaning solvents from decades ago that led to contamination. At the time, St. Charles closed 6 of its 7 wells as a result. Monday, city leaders announced they now have to close the remaining well.
What we suspect is Ameren, in their process of cleansing the substation, has released a lot of chemicals into the soil, which stripped out the contaminants. Thank you. But it stripped everything else out too.
The mayor says that includes ammonia, a vital solution for keeping drinking water clean. Now, the city is paying more to purchase more water from St. Louis for people who live in St. Charles. Over the weekend, city leaders discovered unusually low levels of ammonia in the well field.
How low is it, and where should it be?
So the ammonia level that we are currently at is approximately a third of what it should be. It's too low for us to be able to continue to produce safe drinking water.
An Ameren spokesperson telling us, quote, "We have not received any data or analysis indicating that a report of an issue at the Elm Point water treatment plant is connected to Ameren. We remain focused on remediation efforts at our substation. All work has been approved by the EPA and is done under the agency's supervision."
We'd like to, source our own water and not be dependent on someone else.
All right, so this month, St. Charles was preparing to turn its water wells back on. The city purchased an $8 to $10 million water system upgrade to accompany Ameren's cleanup efforts. Well, then this problem surfaced. For now, the options are to continue purchasing ammonia and/or continuing buying more water from St. Louis, both coming at a cost to taxpayers.
A fall-like feel tonight in St. Louis. Temperatures are dropping into the 60s almost overnight, but you may encounter some fog when you head out the door tomorrow. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Cardinals is here with what you can expect. A lot of kids going back to school this week, too.
This week and next week, it's back to school. Next week, I'll still have that summertime feel, but we are getting a break in that tonight. Temperatures today only in the 80s around St. Louis, and if you work overnight, and there's a large number of folks that are actually working overnight on the highways because there's a lot of construction work going on, they are loving this kind of weather for sure because temperatures have cooled off. We're already in the upper 60s and lower 70s right now around St. Louis. Still kind of partly to mostly cloudy. This system to our north that's responsible for allowing this cooler air brought us some rain still this morning, but that's all pushed away. Now some of these low clouds are trying to push across the region. As they tend to break up some, we could see some fog developing during the overnight hours, especially in the River Valley areas. But quiet weather has returned. This is a nice taste of autumn, but it's faux fall, as we know. Heat's going to build back into the weekend, and as we head into next week, perhaps some of the hottest weather we've had all summer long, Ann.
New tonight, a couple packed up their bags and moved out of downtown St. Louis just hours after witnessing a double shooting. Tonight, they told our Christine Byers the most terrifying part was when they tried to call for help. Christine?
That's right, and this couple tells us that they're moving in together faster than they ever thought they would after they called 911 repeatedly and no one answered their call. They are the latest viewers to contact 5 on Your Side and tell us about the delays that they're experiencing when calling 911 in the city.
We started hearing a bunch of gunfire. We thought maybe 30 to 40 rounds.
Elizabeth Faraci and her boyfriend were in his apartment just 1 block away when it happened.
And then we heard screaming outside. So I started screaming at him to call 911.
Their phone records show they called 911 at least twice. City leaders have said callers should not hang up and should follow the prompts an automated system gives them to reach the type of dispatcher they need. Faraci's boyfriend, who did not want to go on camera, says the automated system didn't work for him.
I did. I even pressed 3 and was just waiting for another good 5 minutes till I finally hung up and then eventually tried again.
Faraci said police arrived between 15 to 20 minutes after they started calling 911, and no one ever did answer their call. Police say it happened in the 1500 block of Olive when 2 groups started arguing and several people opened fire. Both shooting victims survived, and police have not yet made any arrests.
So this is an urgent need that, as an elected official, as a city, we need to figure out.
Alderman Rasheen Aldred says there's a way to fix the city's dispatcher shortage. Starting pay for city dispatchers is $39,000.
I don't think anybody in public safety should be making less than $48,000, and I still think that's low.
And you make double that.
I do. To be honest, I think our dispatchers are worth just as much as our aldermen are paid because their job is just as critical. Every year we're giving all city employees a 3% raise, and we gave our public safety even more on top of that. But we got to find the money because it's necessary. It's necessary to do.
Faraci's boyfriend isn't going to wait for it to happen.
Definitely don't want to stick around here. Definitely moving out of the greater St. Louis area into a more safe place.
A police spokesman tells me that he will be getting us information about those response times on Tuesday, and we will update this story as soon as we get that. Live outside police headquarters, Christine Byers, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, the city of St. Louis is narrowing down the future of the old jail known as the City Workhouse. It closed in 2021 after claims of inhumane conditions from inmates. Today, the city released a list of the ideas for the 23-acre site. Some of the ideas include an industrial site, renewable energy, a memorial or museum, animal shelter, recreation site, or returning the land to native tribes. There will be another survey soon to narrow down the choices, and then a committee will present them to city leaders for a final decision.
Tonight, police are looking for the thieves who stole several veteran memorial plaques from Jefferson Barracks Park. Among the items stolen, a marker dedicated to Wagner Electric employees killed during World War II, and a bench plaque dedicated to veterans of the Battle of the Bulge. They were stolen from the Veterans Memorial Amphitheater. Anyone with information, please call St. Louis County Police. Numbers on your, the number is not on your screen. The number is 636-529-8210. There it is.
Well, today, Missouri Governor Mike Parson put pen to pavement. He held a ceremonial bill signing in Forestell for a bill that will provide nearly $3 billion in funding to expand Interstate 70. The money will be used to add a 3rd lane to both sides of the highway from Wentzville to Blue Springs outside Kansas City. Business owners and drivers believe this will ease congestion and make the interstate safer.
People moving out to this area, you know, they're wanting to get away from the city, come out here where it's a little bit more, they think it's more laid back, but it's still, it's tough, you know, with the traffic, and the infrastructure just isn't quite here yet for it.
It'll be several years before this project is complete. Plans will be shared at public meetings later this month. The first is August 28th. That's at Wentzville City Hall. A second will be held August 29th at the Warren County Administration Building.
Today was the first day of school for students at East St. Louis High School. Staff and leaders were there to greet the students with encouraging signs as they got off the bus and headed into the building. More schools in the Metro East will open later this week. Public schools in Missouri will open next week. We have a back-to-school guide at KSK.com. For a link, text the word school to 314-425-5355.
The public is being deceived. I just don't trust reviews anymore.
Tonight, the warning not to take online reviews at face value. The clues to spot a fake one before making your next purchase. Blindsided. His story captured hearts on the big screen. Tonight, his lawsuit claiming it was all a lie.
You probably think I was fibbing if I told you we won't hit 80 Tuesday in the middle of August in St. Louis. Some of us won't. It's just a brief break when the blistering heat blasts back into the bi-state.
Stunning new video tonight from Hawaii showing how 2 people survived last week's raging wildfires on the island of Maui.
They escaped the flames by jumping into the pool of their condo complex as everything surrounded the water burned. Tonight, the death toll has reached 96, making it the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history. Officials warn that number will grow as crews continue search and recovery efforts. A survivor says he was stuck in gridlock traffic with friends, ran to the ocean for safety, and later returned to the car where his friends stayed with their dogs.
And I saw one Fred dead on the ground like a piece of charcoal, like Pompeii almost, just dead. I mean, there's nothing you could do. It was that fast.
At least 2,200 buildings on the island have been destroyed. Damage is estimated to be close to $6 billion. You can support people impacted by the fires in Hawaii. Just text the word HELP to 314-425-5355.
Tonight, stunning allegations by the former NFL player whose real-life story inspired the 2009 film The Blind Side. Michael Orr says the story of his adoption by a wealthy Memphis family was all a lie. In a new lawsuit, Orr claims the Tui family never legally adopted him. Instead, he alleges they tricked him right before turning 18 to make them his legal conservators, gaining full legal control over his name, likeness, and professional contracts.
Well, a conservatorship is very different from an adoption. A conservatorship does not create a family relationship. It creates a legal responsibility.
Orr's lawsuit claims the family has received millions in royalties from the film, but he hasn't received a dime. He's asking the court to end the conservatorship, and the Tuis have not responded.
Tonight, residents in Dogtown have one less option for groceries. Field Foods temporarily closed its store on Clayton Avenue today. A sign on the door says it will reopen in a few weeks after a transition to new ownership. It's the 3rd location to shut down in less than a month. Last week, the current owner told our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal he's trying to sell the chain to an employee ownership group. Right now, 2 locations in Dogtown and Lafayette Square remain open. Federal student loan payments will resume soon, but according to a new survey, many borrowers are facing a tough choice. Credit Karma found 56% of borrowers say they will be forced between resuming payments or covering things like rent and groceries. Interest accruals resume on September 1st, and payments will be due again in October.
In a recent survey, 43% of Americans say that they find customer reviews on the internet to be very helpful when making purchases. But buyer beware, those glowing 5-star reviews are not always real. Tonight, Consumer Reports helps you spot what's authentic and what's not.
The reviews that I had relied on in selecting a medical provider were fake. I just don't trust reviews anymore.
After her bad experience, Kay Dean decided to create Fake Review Watch, her own YouTube channel and website, to help create awareness and fight back against online reviews.
The public is being deceived, and it's a huge problem because consumer experiences aren't matching those reviews.
In fact, research from FakeSpot found that 42% of Amazon's reviews were not real. How can you know?
One major sign that something fishy might be going on is when you see a bunch of very positive reviews all posted on the same day. Fake reviews can be grouped together like this, so it's better to skip them.
Another red flag is when you see similar wording or phrasing in multiple reviews. Several reviews from different users that have the same, "Wow, this product changed my life," may not be authentic.
Anyone is allowed to leave reviews on Amazon, even if they didn't buy the product. So look for reviews that have the verified purchase tag. This means that the reviewer actually bought the product on Amazon. Look, this one has good reviews.
It may also help you to look at other reviews from the same user. Click on their profile, and if you see a pattern of 5 stars and similar language, those reviews may be fake or even paid. And if you're still not sure, check FakeSpot. which uses an algorithm to evaluate the quality of customer reviews. Paste a product URL into their analyzer and let your good judgment decide.
Recently, the FTC proposed a new rule that would prohibit the creation, purchase, distribution, or sale of fake, false, and deceptive consumer reviews. It must go under public review before being implemented.
A perfect pitch tonight at Busch Stadium for the first ever Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Night. And there she is. Let's watch it.
Look at that.
Our very own Michelle Lee throwing out the first pitch before the Cards game, and she threw a strike. Michelle was there representing the Very Asian Foundation. She founded that organization after receiving a racist voicemail from a viewer. A portion of tonight's theme ticket sales went to the foundation. Fans also went home with the Tommy Edman and Lars Nootbaar bobblehead. That is very impressive. I threw out the first pitch once, practiced in my backyard, and mine was garbage.
Well, I was lucky enough to do it too, and it was okay, but not as good as that.
That was really good.
That was really good.
Right, like I need to know, was there a softball in college? What am I missing here? It's
We'll
impressive.
find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. We're putting Rennie on it tomorrow morning.
All right. Now, Scott, you know, we know that summer is far from over, and you mentioned it's going to heat up again later this week. But overnight, it's going to feel like fall, isn't it?
We're talking open the windows kind of nights here. The next couple of nights, some of us be down into the 50s. That's what it looked like today over at Worldwide Technology Raceway with the clouds moving out and some sunshine during the afternoon. Pretty decent stuff, right? So yesterday afternoon, about 5:30, this is what it was looking like down in Monroe County, Illinois. Look at that. That's a funnel cloud right there spinning, and it did touch down near Ames, Illinois, which is just southwest of Redbud. So right in this area here. We kind of zoom in and you see that cell right here. It doesn't look like much, does it? There was just enough spin in the atmosphere to create that brief tornado. It was on the ground for about 0.3 of a mile, 0.4 of a mile, and only 10 yards wide, but it still did some damage to a machine shed. Also saw some of the debris from the soybean field kind of lofted up a little bit. So it did have 80 to 85 mile per hour winds. Meanwhile, most of us did have some rain from Saturday night into Sunday night and through tonight. This is your last 48 hours. You see a little patch where it was a bit heavier up north of Troy, and then we go down to the south. This is where the rain was really heavy early this morning, stretching from around Salem back over towards Lesterville and then going over towards Cape Girardeau. Areas just west of Cape Girardeau ended up with more than 6 inches of rain in some spots, and it came fast and furious. They had some significant flash flooding down that way. Meanwhile, the cooler air spinning in and across the region. This is not a pattern you traditionally see in August in St. Louis. This is something you would see in the springtime or later in the fall, going into the winter even. But this is a dynamic pattern for this time of year, and it's delivering cooler Canadian air for us, at the same time creating some stormy weather up around the Great Lakes and pushing that severe weather into the mid-Atlantic and over into the East Coast states. So you're looking at temperatures tonight dropping into the 60s, lower 70s. Since we had a lot of rain over the last few days, or many of us did, picked up another 0.35 of an inch in the rain gauge today at Lambert. If we can clear out tonight or at least stay partly cloudy and get the winds to slacken a bit, still a pretty good breeze out of the west at 16, we should see some areas of fog develop, especially in the river valleys. One would think tomorrow night it may actually be more widespread because the winds will slacken a bit more tomorrow night. So low 60s, right around 60 outlying areas, mid 60s in town. Great day tomorrow. Temperatures are going to hold in the 70s, perhaps close to 80 in St. Louis. You should have some clouds early on, especially in the valley locations, and then you're going to see plenty of sunshine. Temperatures warm nicely back into the upper, well, close to 80 degrees, upper 70s to lower 80s as we head into Wednesday afternoon, and plenty of sunshine for the afternoon hours. Going into Thursday and Friday and Saturday, the heat starts to build back. So here's the lowdown on that. The upper ridge that's been pressed back to our west and southwest, it's going to start to expand again. That's going to take these below average temperatures, shove them back to the east, bring us back above average by the weekend, and then well above average heading into early next week. Looks like the focus by next Tuesday and Wednesday for the hottest temperatures could actually end up being across Iowa into Minnesota. Yes, even hotter there than here. And we're likely to be in the mid to upper 90s next week, and we're not going to rule out hitting 100 degrees. But every time we've tried to get there, We've ended up in that pattern like we've had the last couple of weeks where it gets really stormy. That's what you do not see anywhere on this 10-day forecast.
So you're finally going to get some sleep?
That's about it, yes.
Poor Scott.
Scott was here till 5 a.m. What was it?
Saturday
night.
I mean,
Friday
you guys,
night.
he is always working. He is always working for you.
We just keep everybody safe. That's
You
what
are
we
very
do.
committed. All right, Scott, thank you. Frank, you are far less committed.
I resent that, but it's probably true. The Cardinals lost another pitcher, but did they win a game? Mizzou lost a recruit yesterday, but did they get the big one today? Stick around, please.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
It's tough to qualify, but I think you could make a case for the Oakland A's being the worst team in professional sports. 52 games under 500 with a bunch of players perhaps only known by their families and the front office. The Cardinals have them for 3 games this week at Busch Stadium. Tommy Edman has an OPS of over 1,000 this month, second inning an RBI single that scores Jordan Walker. John Mozeliak is wondering when he should promote the phenom shortstop Mason Wynn. Paul Goldschmidt is homerless this month, and that drought has ended with this 400-foot blast in the 5th, and the Cardinals led it 3-2. Goldie on base 5 times today. 7th inning, 5-4 A's. Jordan Walker picks up perfect time for the first triple of his major league career. The ball goes just off the glove of Seth Brown. 3-score. Cardinals led it 7-5. And the best relief pitcher on the team, Joe Romero, closed things out. Tommy Edman with a nifty play, and the Cardinals win it 7-5. When it rains, it pours. Steven Matz is on the 15-day injured list with a strained lat. He's been terrific the last 2 months with earned run averages in the low 2s. And wham, his season is derailed and maybe over. Brutal just when he has turned it around. Eli Drinkwitz needs to turn it around, and the Mizzou program took a giant step today. A little background. 5-star recruits coming to Columbia are rare. Before today, there have only been 5 of them. Make it 6 now. Take a look at this athlete. He's Williams Wanuri from Summit North. 6'5", 250, ranked as high as number 3 in the country. This defensive end terrorizes the opposition. Here was the reaction by the Mizzou coaching staff. Love that raw emotion. Congrats to Mizzou football. Congrats to the pride of John Burroughs, Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke signed a 1-year deal with the Patriots, $3 million base, $1 million bonus, and he's joining a team that desperately needs running backs and playmakers. Zeke has 8,000 yards on his resume. He's 28, and he's the second St. Louis back to go to the Pats late in his career. Lawrence Maroney had a really nice playoff run there. So this weekend at the Brickyard in Indianapolis, they brought NASCAR and the Indy cars together for a festive weekend. We were there, and you will be seeing our coverage throughout the week as we prepare for the Bommarito 500 on the 27th. One driver who had his biggest moment at the Brickyard is Joseph Newgarden. He won the Indy 500 this year, and he loves St. Louis and Worldwide Technology Raceway too. Why not? He's won the Bommarito 500 4 times in 6 years. I asked him what success tastes like on the track.
We show up on a race weekend, we're trying to solve a problem quicker than the rest of everybody else. And it takes a lot of people. You have a whole team that's trying to figure this problem out, and it's always changing. And when you get it right, it's so gratifying. I mean, it's like solving a super high complex problem, in a limited amount of time. And it's a pressure cooker. You got all these people watching you, asking you about it, bugging you about it. And when you get it right on the day, it's just the greatest thing ever.
And that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks. We'll be right back.
Let's update you on the breaking news we're following tonight. A grand jury in Georgia has handed down 19 indictments in connection to the election interference probe surrounding former President Donald Trump. Mr. Trump is among those named in that indictment, his 4th in recent months.
Also named are 6 allies, including Rudy Giuliani and his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. They're accused of trying to overturn the 2020 election. The former president, who is the GOP frontrunner for president in 2024, has denied any wrongdoing and has called this investigation election interference. St. Louis Blues announced this year's promotional schedule today. New theme nights this year include Golf Night on October 19th. Fans with a theme ticket will get a Robert Thomas golfing bobblehead. November 14th will be Dink at the Rink Pickleball Night, featuring a Blues pickleball jersey. Racing Night is March 19th, featuring a Louis Racing bobblehead, and single game tickets will go on sale on Friday. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.